Hello there. I am the world's greatest psychic, and I shall predict for you major events that you will experience in the coming year. There will be war in Europe. There will be typhoons in Asia, and tornadoes and hurricanes in America. A politician will be caught in a scandal. A terrorist will attack. And somebody in your family whose name starts with a J or M or C or S, the spirits are not clear about this, will experience a traumatic event. In addition, it is highly likely that somebody will die that you know, and at least one person that you know will end up in the hospital with the coronavirus. This is all because the stars have foretold it, and the ghosts have whispered in my ear to alert me to these things. But don't worry, all is not lost. You see, in a past life, you were a very, very important person. And you did many great things, and as a consequence, karma will come to your rescue, and you will gain money. Yes, indeed, you will. It is without a doubt that from one source or another, you will have money coming in to help you. That is what you might expect to hear when you go to visit a psychic and pay a lot of money. I've done many, many tarot card readings, but I am not a psychic. I've never claimed to be a psychic. I only said that I used my intuition and I asked questions to try and read the cards and tell people what it seemed like the cards were giving as an answer to their questions. And of course, they had to tell me their question and answer questions that I asked in order to increase the accuracy. And I was told, actually, that I was pretty accurate. But see, that's the thing. When you rig the system in your favor, and I was not doing this for money. I never got any money. I was not doing this for fame or power. I was legitimately just trying to help people by offering them a free service. But the truth is that after watching videos by Derrin Brown and James Randi, Captain Disillusion, and other famous people who debunk scams, I came to realize that what I was doing was at least in part called cold reading. So I don't really do card reading anymore. Which is kind of sad because now I don't have a tool that can answer my questions for me randomly. The thing of it is Harry Houdini, one of the most famous magicians of days gone by, went to medium after medium after medium, to clairvoyants, to psychics, to all manner of people claiming to have special powers because he wanted to talk to a loved one. And every place he went, all he found were frauds who were using magic tricks, not unlike what he would use in his shows, but honestly represented as stage magic, whereas they would represent it as supernatural powers or psychic abilities. And he debunked them, and he exposed them as the frauds they were. Astrology is a fraudulent art. Tarot card reading, palm reading, head reading, tea leaf reading, automatic writing, all that stuff. It's all bunk. And when you go to see a psychic in an audience, they love to have an audience. Do you know why? Because so many people are so gullible. So they start rattling off names. And do you know what names they choose? They choose the most common names. The names that are statistically going to be most likely to have several people in the audience who know somebody with that name. And then they will name conditions and things that are statistically also very common. Like hypertension, heart attack, stroke, cancer, diabetes, and so on. As well as financial troubles, job loss, trouble in love. And see, what they're doing is they're fishing. And when somebody says, oh, I have somebody that I know whose name is Michael or Mark or Matthew, caught on the hook. That person will be their victim and most likely will go back to them and be victimized by them time and again, costing them who knows how much money. Well, they don't get anything real in return. When you watch psychics, if they make predictions, like I made at the start of this video, all of those predictions were based on what? My psychic abilities? I am not a psychic. They were all based on a very general knowledge of history, of psychology, of weather, of current events. And they will all come true as long as I don't get detailed. And then later on, if I were one of those fake psychics, I would go back and I would say, you know what? In addition to what I said publicly, I wrote down before that this information, and here's the paper that I wrote before I made the public announcement. Just like the psychic twins lied about having predicted September 11th, 2001 in New York or Atlanta or some other place, and they predicted it for 2012 or something, 2022 or something like that. They predicted it wrong, and they guessed 3 different places. And it was vague. It was just about terrorism. And they chose places that had previously had problems with terrorists. That is not psychic ability. That is taking advantage of people. And I am so tired of these false prophets, these scam artists, these cons, making people think with the flimsiest of evidence that they have skill. Derrin Brown, a famous, very famous stage magician and street magician in the UK, who used to be a scam artist, now exposes fraudulent psychics and mediums. James Randi, who was a famous stage magician for many years, became a debunker. And he even went on and had a television program in which he offered, I think it started out at $10,000. He eventually became $100,000 to any person who could come on his show and prove their psychic ability. Never once was there a psychic who came on his show who was able to produce it. in front of the cameras and the audience with any more accuracy than just sheer dumb luck. And yet you say, oh, no, but my psychic is different. My psychic really can predict the future. Yes, well, you might want to actually pay more attention to how much research they do about you specifically. Because if you have a one-on-one with somebody, they have access to the internet and they pay for extra services that collect data about you. So they know a lot more about you than you think they know, which allows them to spout off names of family and friends and events and tragedies and wonderful things, not because of something here or from up there or from down there, but because they used the internet and data collection services, which they paid well and for which you have just been scammed using. You must understand that when it comes to these mediums, these psychics, and other people who claim to have extraordinary powers, they come in one of probably three types. The worst kind of all are the ones who know that they're ripping you off. They know that what they're doing is wrong, they just don't care. They don't care if they take all of your money and leave you destitute in your retirement. They don't care if their advice causes you to lose your friends and ruin your relationships and your job. They only care that you pay them because they are greedy and they are amoral or immoral. So they do not have your interest at heart. That's the first kind. The second kind believe that they have abilities to predict the future, to talk with the dead. And these types of people really do believe it because they're mentally ill. They may have schizophrenia. They may have some other kind of personality disorder where they hear voices, see things, and experience reality in a way that isn't real. The third type of people are like myself, who genuinely want to help others and think they've figured out something, but are really just grasping at straws, using their logic, their knowledge, their experiences to answer your questions and to try and help you. And the best of us try to be careful about what we say, and the worst of us make horrible mistakes. Like when the psychic twins channeled JonBenet Ramsey. It doesn't matter in the end if the person that you are trusting with your money and potentially an aspect of your life, love or money or employment, they are either after your money or they are deluded because of mental illness. Or they're deluded because they just think they can do something they can't actually do. And they're doing something different, like I used to do. And again, I never asked for money. I never got money for doing what I did. I never became famous. I never became powerful. And now I don't do it anymore. But I'm telling you right now that as long as you continue to believe in and trust these people, they will continue to be happy to pop out of the woodwork and take away your hard-earned money so that they can live a more comfortable life while you live in a fantasy world of their construction, believing things and dictating your life based on the whims of psychics. It doesn't matter if you're naive or stupid or intelligent. You can be a victim of psychics and other con artists. So please, if somebody starts making really, really vague predictions, don't raise your hand and say, "Oh yeah, that's me." Start asking them questions. Ask them to give details. And do not offer them any information. Do this as an anonymous member of an audience where you did not submit information at the beginning of or prior to the program at any point, so they do not have any information about you. Now that includes giving up your identity when you buy tickets online. Pay cash at the door. And don't tell them who you are. Don't answer any questions. Don't give them any form of ID. And be very skeptical. Because they love the people who are not skeptical. The people who are just waiting to be taken advantage of. However, if you refuse to heed my warnings and take my advice, then this is the great Swami Glenn, and I shall provide you with amazing predictions of doubtful reliability for the modest sum of only $100 an hour, which is a deal you must admit. Stay away from those scam artists. There are better ways to get answers to questions than to believing con artists, liars, and people who are just genuinely confused or lost. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.